wood spider is the most accomplished of all web-building species. When given a minute dose of LSD, the spider's web took on an unfamiliar, minimalist structure. When given caffeine, the web structure was not affected, but the spider's behavior was.
To discuss a matter of the gravest importance, literally a matter of life and death. It has been my practice as a member of Parliament to favor the expansion of free choice and individual human agency in all of our decisions.
50 years ago, American government scientists had clinical evidence that fluoride affected the central nervous system. But all this was kept secret.
Given THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, the spider didn't build a web. It built a hammock, where it lay all day and watched the caffeine spider go.
And so when you damage the IQ of the children, you lose your place in the country as a leader, and we have. And that's because of the damage that our government has allowed to happen to the intelligence of our children.
Medical assistance in dying was supposed to be exclusively for people who do want to die, who, having been presented with all the worldly alternatives, have chosen death. But we have a member of Parliament and former physician on the government side who says that this bill will have the effect of forcing people to a decision they would not otherwise make.
When given alcohol, the spider built a web, found a mate, and raised over 100 young. But the mate got a restraining order, and now the spider can't go within 100 centimeters of the web.
The true terrorists of our world do not meet at the docks at midnight or scream Allah Akbar before some violent action. The true terrorists of our world wear $5,000 suits and work in the highest positions of finance, government, and business.
The crack cocaine spider figured building webs was for suckers, waited till the caffeine spider was exhausted, then came up behind it and popped a cap in its ass. Nice web, Mr. Crack Spider.
Look, the first opponents of fluoridation in this country in the 1950s were biochemists. These biochemists had used fluoride in their experiments to poison enzymes. And they, including Dr. James Sumner, who won the Nobel Prize for enzyme chemistry at Cornell, and he said, fluoride poisons enzymes. You don't want to put this substance into the body. Poisoning enzymes is what makes people sick. Poisoning enzymes is what kills people.
We have a state healthcare system to which everybody is forced to pay, and of which everyone is forced to be a part, from which it is impossible to avoid receiving care because paying out of pocket is illegal. Private insurance is not allowed for essential care. And when this gentleman then goes to the care, the only care the government will allow him to have, they say, we can't provide you with that care, but here's what we can do. We can end your life. You can pack it in. You can just give up. That is not free choice.
At the top, there are people who are avowed satanic, Luciferian devil worshippers. They hate God. These people are against God. These people...
When winter came, the marijuana spider had no place to live. It ended up in the crack web as the crack spider's bitch. For more information on the crack spider's bitch, contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa.
No wonder that our children can't read and write. It's no wonder because we're damaging their brains with a stupid preventive dentistry program that doesn't even work.
So, what do we do? How do we stop a system of greed and corruption that has so much power and momentum? How do we stop this aberrant group behavior which feels no compassion for, say, the millions slaughtered in Iraq and Afghanistan, so the corporatocracy can control energy resources and opium production for Wall Street profit?
Special Rapporteur on Persons with Disabilities is extremely concerned about the implementation of the legislation on medical assistance in dying from a disability perspective. She has learned that there is no protocol in place to demonstrate that persons with disabilities deemed eligible for assisted dying have been provided with viable alternatives. Mr. Foley's case being a prime example of that. Therefore, those most vulnerable are not given a choice. Rather, they are funneled towards one inescapable outcome and compelled by the state to end their life at threat of merciless and unnecessary suffering. Rather than providing these people with the care that would mitigate their suffering and fulfill the wishes of a happy life, they are told they have no choice but to end life altogether.
So what they showed in studies in other countries is that you lose all your genius out of your society. You've damaged the intellect.
God's bringing another people into America and pushing the white Europeans off the land. And so we have a brown invasion that has come in.
By spreading this virus, we're going to eliminate individuals from donning on a bomb vest and going into a market and blowing up the market.
So our hypothesis is that these are fanatical people, that they have overexpression of the VMAT2 gene, and that by vaccinating them against this, we'll eliminate this behavior, which is it's essentially to turn a fanatic into a normal person. And we think that will have major effects in the Middle East.
If these people ever get power, they're going to slaughter tens of thousands of pastors, tens of thousands of Christians. They will spill blood in America.
We put forward an amendment to make sure that a case like Roger Foley's would never happen again by banning medical professionals and other caregivers from raising the issue of assisted dying with a patient, rather than letting the patient raise the issue him or herself. The government opposed that.
How would you suggest that this is going to be dispersed? Aerosol?
Well, so the present plan and the tests that we've done so far have used respiratory viruses, such as flu or rhinoviruses. And we believe that that's a satisfactory way to get the exposure of the largest part of the population. Most of us, of course, have been exposed to both of those viruses.
Everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Everybody rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Everybody knows the fight was fixed. The poor stay poor, the rich get rich. That's how it goes. Everybody knows.
The government is removing the requirement there be two witnesses to sign off before someone dies. They're removing the 10-day waiting period, which allows people who might be in a burst of urgent distress to consider and reconsider their decision, a decision that we all know is absolutely irreversible.
Everybody knows that the boat is leaking. Everybody knows that the captain lied. Everybody got this broken feeling, like their father or their dog just died. Everybody talking to their pockets. Everybody wants a box of chocolates and a long stem rose. Everybody knows.
If these people in Washington think that they're going to get away with it, it's not going to happen. The Trump supporters are going to hunt them down.
When you've done a line or two, everybody knows the deal is rotten. Old Black Joe still picking cotton for your ribbons and bows. And everybody knows. And everybody knows that the plague is coming.
This is fascinating. What's the name of this proposal?
Yeah, so the name of this project is FunVax, which is the vaccine for religious fundamentalism.
And you have a proposal already?
The proposal has just been submitted, and I think that the data that I have shown you today would support the development of this project, and we think it has great promise.
Everybody knows the scene is dead, but there's gonna be a meter on your bed that will disclose what everybody knows.
People are hosting so-called news shows, and they're talking like they're insane.
Heavenly Father God, we give you all the praise and the glory.